useless slide, isn't it? That's not going to do us any
Can't read
good
it.
at all.
More than 5 minutes.
There we go. Okay. So let's. We've got quite a bit to get through. I've not been very good at planning lessons just lately, so I tend to have half the lesson left at the end of the day. So let's crack on with today's lesson. There we go. So la semana pasada, Caroline me preguntó cómo se llamaría una bufanda para el verano. And of course, not being an expert on such garments, I had no idea. So I asked my daughter-in-law, can everybody translate that okay? La semana pasada, last week, yeah. Caroline me preguntó. Pregunto is the preterite, the simple past tense of she asks. So she asks, she asked. And when you go into the preterite, irregular verb, the he, she, ella, usted becomes o, with a stress at the end to distinguish it from pregunto. It's a subtle difference. Caroline asked me, ¿cómo se llamaría una bufanda para el verano? What would we call a summer scarf? Llamar there is in the conditional, so it's what would we rather than we would call. So I asked my daughter-in-law in Spanish is nuera. Mi nuera Lucia se dice que se llamaría una bufanda. It should be delgada, not degada. Delgada, of course, means thin. Yeah. So it's a thin scarf. It's what you'd call one for summer, which I guess isn't that different to what we'd say in England, is it? We call I think a pashmina in Spanish is pashmina, although it's not a word I've heard. So we can call a winter scarf. We could call it una bufanda caliente, a warm scarf, or una bufanda de lana, a woolen scarf. Woolen might be a thin woolen scarf, or it might be a thick woolen scarf, of course, or simply una bufanda, a scarf. And I guess if it's 2 degrees outside and you say put your scarf on, you're not going to put a thin summer scarf on, are you? So we have to allow some common sense here. So that's the answer to Caroline's question. So, buenos días, bienvenidos a la lección 33. ¿Qué tenemos esta semana? Empecemos la tarea de la semana pasada. Tenemos, puedes decir. We're going to continue traveling in Spanish. Now, if I'm quick, we'll complete our lesson on traveling phrases, and then we're going to learn how to ask people if they had a nice time. So let's see how much we can get through. Tarea de la semana pasada. And again, I pasted last week's title on there. So there was lots to translate last week, and rather than translating from English to Spanish, I thought we'd mix it up a bit and see if we could translate from Spanish into English. So we'll have a crack at these. I'm going to start at the bottom of my little gallery, where Lorraine is sitting. Buenos dias, Lorraine. Hola.
Buenos dias. I am sorry I'm late. My clock says 10 to 10. I thought I was going to be early, and then went into panic mode when it said 10:05 on the other clock. Sorry.
It probably needs a new battery, does it?
Yeah, it's my Fitbit watch. So.
Oh, Fitbit watch, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that should be all right. I never put a clock right nowadays. All my clocks adjust themselves automatically. Even the one in the car does. Everyone except the cooker. The cooker doesn't. And I can never remember how to set the clock on the cooker. I always go to change the clock, and I end up setting the timer so the oven switches on at 2 o'clock or something crazy like that. Anyway, I get there in the end. So, Lorraine, 3 for you. Can you translate these sentences?
I'll try. I would like some information about the trains.
Yep, perfecto. Quisiera, I would like rather than I want. It's just a politeness, really. It's what we'd say in the UK, and the Spanish like it as well. It's one of those little tricks in Spanish that they use to avoid saying please. Number 2, numero dos.
Can I have, or yeah, do you have do you have a train timetable?
Yeah, perfecto. You have a train timetable. Tiene, you have. Horario is the timetable de trenes. So you could say, puede darme un horario de trenes. Can you give me a train timetable? Or hay un horario de trenes? Is there a train timetable? Sort of implying that you'd like one, and if they have one, they could give it to you. Any of those would be a good way to ask. And I is a really useful word to know. Número 2, ¿a qué hora sale el tren?
At what time does the train leave?
Yeah. At what time does the train leave? Yeah, perfect. Great. Okay, so next up on the gallery, it's Apple. So I've got 5 for you, Apple. You get the rough end of the stick. ¿A qué hora llega el tren?
What time does the train arrive?
That's it. Perfect. Yep. ¿Me puede decir a qué hora sale el próximo autobús para Madrid?
Can you tell me what time the next bus for Madrid leaves?
Yeah, perfect. So there's a few, I've broken this down because there's a few really useful phrases there. It's good to sort of learn the building blocks of sentences, what you want to say, and then you can sort of jiggle them about a bit like Lego and put different sentences together. So me puede decir, can you tell me, is a really useful one. If you want to speak in the informal, me puedes decir. A qué hora, what time. Sale is salir, is to leave. It leaves is sale. El próximo autobús para Madrid, the next bus for Madrid. When we're talking about a destination, an end destination, we use para. If we wanted to say it goes through, we would say por Madrid, the bus goes through Madrid. So if you wanted to check that I'm going to test my Spanish geography now here. You want to know whether the bus para Madrid goes through Cartagena, you'd say autobus para Madrid por Cartagena, goes through Cartagena. So para and por there. One is for the final destination. The other one is for as in going through. Tiene el tren una restaurante?
Does the train have a restaurant?
Perfecto. Número 7. Sirven comida en el tren.
Do they serve food on the train?
Yeah. So I think when we're talking about corporate entities such as stores, big stores, or train companies, airlines, it's best to use the you plural conjugation rather than the you personal, usted, or el ella. It's I mean, if you're in a small shop and you know the guy, you'd use tú. But if it's a corporate company, best to use the you plural. Número 8. ¿Cuánto tiempo se hace?
How long does it take?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Good. Okay, so 5 more to finish. Adrian, will you have a crack at these for me? You're on mute at the moment, Adrian.
Lo siento, Eric. No he hecho la tarea esta semana. Normalmente hago la tarea los lunes.
No te preocupes.
Pero ayer con mis 2 hijas intentábamos durante muchas horas comprar billetes para Wembley.
Euro 2020?
Sí. Hay un baño is there a toilet on the bus?
Yeah, perfect. Se detiene por un descanso.
Does it stop for a break?
Yeah, perfect.
How long before it stops for a break?
Bang on, yeah. ¿Cuánto tiempo antes de que pare por un descanso?
Please stop the bus. My wife needs the bathroom.
Perfect. Yes. I put we just to get a cheap laugh. You know, I'm like one of these comedians. I know the British sense of humour, but there we go.
Can you stop the bus, please? My husband is ill.
Yeah, perfect. Good stuff. So we're going to do not listening exercises, but we're going to do some more translation now. And one of them contains what might be a new verb for us. I can't remember using it before. Dejar means to allow, and it's a regular AR verb, dejar. So in the imperative, dejam, it means let me. Deja. Dejame deja means you allow. Dejame, you can hook the pronoun on at the end because it's an instruction, Déjame means you allow me. Pensar is to think. So déjame pensar, let me think. And it's one of those phrases that's really useful for buying time when you can't think of the right thing to say, or you want time to make a decision or consult somebody. Déjame pensar, and you can use déjame for a number of other things. So you could say, let me see, déjame ver, or let me know, déjame saber. So it's quite a useful little word, and try to practice those delay phrases. We've got déjame pensar, let me think. We've got pues, which means sort of well, and we've got bueno. They say that quite often as a little break up to give yourself a chance to think. So we have a conversation here, which is somebody asking about trains and buses and how to get to places. So let's see how well we can remember that. We've got a conversation, so we've got two parts, and what luck! The next people on my list are Richard and Maya. So Richard could do the black and Maya could do the blue, maybe. How's that? Is that okay? So, ¿cómo puedo ir a Londres, Richard? Means, ¿cómo puedo ir a Londres?
How do I get to London?
Yeah, how can I get to London? And the response is, hay autobuses, pero el tren es mejor. So, Maya, hay autobuses. Yeah. There are buses. Yeah.
There are buses, but the train is best.
It's better. Yeah.
Where are we?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. ¿Cuánto cuesta?
How much is it?
Yeah. Yeah. ¿Va y vuelve usted? Is the question.
Richard?
Yes.
Yes. Are you going and coming back? Yeah. Yeah. There and back. Yes. El boleto. Now, we boleto or billete is absolutely fine. I think I don't think there's any difference between them. So you use whichever you remember better. El boleto más barato es de ida y vuelta para el mismo día a 28 libras esterlinas.
That's you, Richard.
Yeah. El boleto más barato, Maya.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Oh, is it me or is it Richard?
It's mine. Yeah.
Oh, the cheap.
Oh, Richard can chip in if he wants to show off. That's fine.
The cheapest ticket is a single return for the same day. Is £28 sterling.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. A return ticket is boleto or billete ida y vuelta, there and back, in other words, but it's a return ticket. ¿Cuánto tiempo se hace?
How long does it take?
Yeah. Aproximadamente 1 hora y 15 minutos.
Approximately 1 hour, 15 minutes.
Ah, gracias. ¿Y cómo puedo ir de Londres a Bath?
Thank you. How do I get from London to Bath?
Yeah. You can you can use the prepositions de and a from to. You could also say desde hacia. Hasta. Desde and hasta. They're largely interchangeable, but they're both are fine in this case. I always say de and a because it's easier to remember for some reason. Anyway. Nuevamente, el tren es mejor. Debes tomar el metro hasta Paddington y tomar el tren a Bath. Costará alrededor de 60 libras esterlinas por un boleto de ida y vuelta. Okay.
Again, the train is fast. You must take the subway to Paddington or underground and take a train to Bath, and it will cost around £60 written in pounds sterling. For a ticket.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. I mean, it might be a bit more than that these days. I don't know. It's I've been using this same sentence for 2 or 3 years, so it's probably gone up a bit. So here we have more conversations. In this case, these are answers to questions that the person has been asked. So let's run through these and make sure we can translate these. Jane, how can you translate this paragraph?
Yeah. Let me think. You can go by plane, train, or bus. There are various flights daily from Lima. The flight takes an hour and a quarter, approximately. The bus takes between 16 and 20 hours.
Yeah. Peruvian buses aren't the fastest way to get around the country. Perfect. Yeah. And Caroline, how about this one?
Which one?
Not Caroline Ingram, the other Caroline, who's
right. Okay, that's me then.
I've forgotten this. Gray, that's it. Yes, Gray.
Okay. Yes. You can take a plane, a train, or a bus to Cusco. There are, if you want, there are 2 daily flights.
Perfect. Yeah.
To Lima. The flight takes an hour. If you want to go by train, you have to first go to Arequipa, and from Arequipa take the train to Cusco. The journey by train from Arequipa to Cusco takes 16 hours approximately.
Perfect. Okay, we're getting everybody involved today. Who have we not had so far? Did we have the other Caroline? The other Carolines?
No, you didn't. No.
No. So.
Right, at Machu Picchu, you can take the bus or the train by Cusco, and it takes approximately 4 hours. Also, you can go by foot.
See?
You can go by foot on the Inca Trail.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So. And next, Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Iquitos in the Peruvian Andes, you have to take a plane. It's the only way to get there from Lima. The flight lasts 90 minutes.
Yeah, brilliant. So, well done on the translations. Any questions on that from anybody? Any questions or comments? Everybody happy? Good, good. So we'll come to puedes decir. So the next three on our list was cinco actividades que se hacen al aire libre. Puedes decir 4 actividades que haces nada más levantarte. Y puedes decir 5 marcadores de frecuencia. So, what have we got for the first one? 5 activities that you can do in the open air. And we'll get Amanda to tell us these if we can. Amanda. You're on mute, of course, at the moment, Amanda. So that's away.
Trabajar en jardinería.
Jardín would be fine. Yeah, work in the garden. Yeah.
Caminar.
See.
Jugar al fútbol a pie.
Yes. Yeah.
Caminar los perros.
Los
Perros.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah. What were the dogs? Yeah. I think that's 4. So you've got more. 1 left, and you've got your 5.
Can't think what to do. I can't think of things in English, Eric. My brain's fuddled.
Juegar al croquet.
Al croquet. Yeah, that's big in Peterborough, Adrian. Well, there was the big croquet match to decide whether we call it the Neen or the Nen, and the Neeners lost, didn't they? So officially the river has to be called the Nen all the way to the sea now, I think. Is that right? Did you read that story?
Yes.
It's a few weeks back now. Yeah.
Rubbish.
We're going to win back the name next year.
Yeah, back next year. Yeah. Good. So I had a few here. Caminar al perro, but we know what you mean, Amanda. The Spanish have lots of ways to talk about a walk, and pasear el perro is what you might say, or they talk about dar una vuelta con el perro. Dar una vuelta is take a turn, I guess, is the English direct translation. Jugando golf, escalada de montaña, climbing a mountain, volar una cometa, fly a kite, broncearse, sunbathe, y corriendo una maratón was. They were 6 that sprung to mind. Anybody got any other interesting ones? We had croquet.
Comer el picnic.
Yeah.
Monta a la bicicleta.
Yeah.
Lavar el coche.
Gotcha. Yes. That's a good one.
Conducir Ramanado.
Conducir
Ramanado.
Ramanado. ¿Qué es un ramanado?
Rowing.
Ah. Good. Yeah, all things you have to do outside. I guess you could wash the car inside if you had a big enough garage.
It's a big enough garage.
Good, excellent. Okay, what's the next lot that we've got? Puedes decir cuatro actividades que haces nada más levantarte. You get up in the morning. Paul, what four things do you do as soon as you get up?
Ir al baño. Hacer una taza de té.
Sí.
Ducharse, comer el desayuno.
See? Ducharse. You don't eat breakfast in the shower. You shower and then, yeah.
Ducharse. Sorry, there wasn't a comma there. Comer el desayuno.
Desayuno. Sí. Perfecto. Anybody got any other suggestions?
Lavando los dientes.
Sí.
Lavando mi capello.
I don't do that every day. I have a rule. Hair wash twice a week, no more. My wife, she only washes her hair about no more than once a week. Doesn't seem to need washing, my wife's hair. I don't know. These were my suggestions. Where are we? Tomando una ducha, we had that one. Vestirse, get dressed. Preparando una taza de té, we had that. Taza de té. Limpiarse los dientes. Vaciar el lavavajillas. Empty the dishwasher. That's always on my list. That's on my list of jobs to do in the morning. I don't let my wife stack the dishwasher. That's you need at least a month's training to be able to stack the dishwasher efficiently. And my wife she has this annoying habit of putting the spoons where the fork should be in the cutlery tray and things like that. So I can't empty it efficiently if it's not stacked properly. Escucha las noticias, listen to the news. Consultar correo electrónico y WhatsApp. So it's not the first thing I do, but it's up there on the list. Check my emails and WhatsApp. And I don't know about you, but I find I can be checking emails all day. So I've made myself little rules. I only let myself check my emails a couple of times a day. Otherwise I spend all day checking emails, and it's very bad use of time. So finally, puedes decir 5 marcadores de frecuencia. Now this was a tough one. This was. What did you get for this, Jane?
Todos los días. Semanal.
Semanal, yeah.
Weekly, yeah, is that right?
Yeah.
Annual.
Yeah, good one.
Siempre.
Siempre, sí.
Nunca.
Nunca is a good one. That's fine. Perfect.
And a veces.
A veces, sí. Sometimes, yeah. Okay. Anybody got other suggestions that they'd like to put forward?
I've got a hora mismo.
Ahora mismo.
Right now.
Right now. Yeah. Yeah, good one. Yeah.
Would trimstial mean quarterly be all right?
Quarterly, yeah, it would. Yeah. How do you say that?
Trimstial, Stral. I think that's how you pronounce it. Trimestral. Estral.
Okay. Any others?
No.
A menudo.
A menudo, it's a good one, yeah. Often. Normalmente, we could have normalmente.
Todos los años bisiestos.
Todos los años
Bisiestos.
bisiestos.
I cheated and looked it up. It's every leap year.
Okay. Yes. Right. Good. Get an extra day, don't you? So, what else did I have? I had normalmente, casi nunca, almost never, and raramente. I think we've had all the other ones. So well done there. We do use those in sentences quite often when we're chatting and in general conversation. So they're good ones. They're good ones to know. Worth committing those
Eric,
to
what does
memory.
menudo mean? What's that one?
Often.
Oh, often.
Yeah, often. Yeah. So let's chug along with getting about in a Spanish-speaking country. So when we want to ask how to get somewhere, we need to use the verb poder, to be able. And we've used this an awful lot lately. And I think everybody is pretty good at conjugating it. If you have to stop and think about poder, give yourself a drill in how to conjugate it. Puedo, puedes, puede, podemos, podéis, pueden. It's one of the most useful verbs that you can have in Spanish, and it's really important for getting about. Can I? So, como puedo ir a means how can I get to? So if you're Ian, if you're two of you, you're there with Marilyn, and you want to ask how can we get to? How would you say that?
Como podías ir a wherever you're going.
Yeah. Como podemos ir a to wherever you want to get to. Yeah. Bang on. And to get to and from, we can say como puedo ir de, wherever you're coming from, to a. So from Peterborough to London, de Peterborough a Londres. How can I get from to? Okay. So can you remember what these phrases mean? Puedes recordar lo que significan estas frases. Now there's a useful little phrase there, lo que. Lo que, you'll see that it's one of those annoying Spanish phrases or words that don't have an absolute direct translation in English. It can mean several things. it could sort of mean what, the thing, but it crops up in Spanish sentences all the time. It's best.
There is a translation. It's just not very idiomatic. I would say it means that which.
That which, yeah.
We'd never say that, would we?
I tend to translate it as the thing. And if you're going to use it, make sure you could substitute it with that thing or the thing that. So can you remember the thing that these phrases mean? It's not good English, but that loque it pops up in Spanish all the time. So, and it's one of those things that you're trying to translate something and you come across loque. It doesn't make a lot of sense because it's not how we describe it in English. So don't let it fox you. Just say that which is a good one, or the thing that. Yeah. So, ¿cómo puedo ir a Barcelona? How would we translate that, Ian?
How do I go to Barcelona?
Sí. And if I say to you, ¿hay un autobús cada hora? What would I be saying? ¿Hay un autobús cada hora?
By bus?
Remember, that's a really useful word in Spanish. I means there is.
There is a bus.
Or there are.
Or there are buses.
No
buses.
Means there aren't. So hay un autobús cada hora. There is a bus.
In an hour.
Cada hora is each hour.
Each hour.
Yeah. Hay un autobús cada hora. It's a bus every hour. Yeah. Paul.
How do I get from Barcelona to Madrid?
Okay. If I say to you, el tren es lo mejor, tienes que salir de la estación de Sants y el viaje dura 2 horas y 30 minutos. That's it.
Say that again, sorry.
Now, if that was a Spaniard, he'd say a lot faster.
Yeah.
So let's break that down. El tren es lo mejor.
The train is, missed the next bit.
Lo mejor.
Train is best.
Best, yeah. Tienes que salir de la estación de Sants.
It leaves from Stantes station.
Yeah. El viaje dura 2 horas y 30 minutos.
And it arrives in 2.5 hours' time.
Yeah. So the train is best. You need to leave from. You have to leave. I said not you need to leave, but necesitas que salir. You have to leave from Sants station. That's one of the stations in Barcelona, and the journey takes 2 hours 30 minutes. El tren es lo mejor. Tienes que salir de la estación de Sants. El viaje dura 2 horas y 30 minutos. Has anybody been on the train in Spain?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you find it? Is it good?
Unfortunately, the train now is been discontinued because we took the night sleeper from Paris through to Madrid, and it was absolutely wonderful. But the regional railways are okay. It's an experience, put it like that.
Do you get a sleeping compartment, or do you?
Yeah, it was like the sleepers you got on the sort of London to Edinburgh or Glasgow. Very, very comfortable.
Yeah. Wow.
Bit clickety clack because of the way the track is, but the food on board was absolutely superb.
Right.
And then we had an interesting stop on the border where they actually had to change the gauge.
Oh, really?
Yes, you could hear all this clanking about, and I was talking to the guard, and his English was excellent. I said, well, "What's happening?" He says, "Oh, because Spanish rails, I think, are slightly wider. They had to move all the bogies out." So it was all part of the experience, but absolutely superb.
Yeah. I went on the snow train once from Bourg Saint-Maurice to Paddington to St Pancras. I had to. My son was spending a year in France skiing and walking in the Alps, and somebody pulled out in front of him. He wrote his car off, and it was Paris week, of course, so all these Parisian drivers were causing mayhem. Wrote his car off, so I took him another car down, an old Volkswagen Polo that we had that was on its last legs, and he could let the French break that one. But I decided to get the train back, and there was a train from Bourg Saint-Maurice that left at 9 o'clock at night and got to St Pancras at 7 the next morning, and there were no compartments, it was just recliner seats, and the train was absolutely packed with Brits who'd all been on the booze, and as soon as the train started, half of them fell asleep, and you've never heard such snoring. Now, apparently I can snore, but these guys, you needed ear defenders. God, it was the noisiest train I've ever been. I wouldn't recommend
travelled
it.
all over Spain by train. We've not been on a sleeper, but we've travelled all over the country by train. It's fantastic.
Yeah, good.
If you want to read, Eric, there's a very good book on this called Slow Trains Around Spain by Tom Cheshire.
Is there? Slow Trains Around Spain? Yeah. Okay.
Well worth a read.
Good. So, who's next? Caroline Gray is next.
Can you give me a train timetable?
See? Now, if I said to you, ¿puedes conseguir uno en la oficina de turismo?
You can get one in the Tourist Information Office.
Perfecto. Yep. So, Jane, ¿a qué hora sale el tren?
What time does the train leave?
If I say, salen cada hora pasados 20 minutos.
It leaves every 20 minutes.
Cada hora pasados 20 minutos.
Oh, 20 minutes past the hour.
Ah, sí, muy bien. Salen cada hora pasados 20 minutos, every hour at 20 past. Apple, ¿cuánto tiempo se hace?
How long does it take?
Perfecto. And if I said to you, el tren rápido tarda 45 minutos.
The fast train takes
45 minutes.
Repete, por favor.
45 minutos.
45 minutes.
Muy bien. And who's next on our list? Richard, if I, what's this one? El autobús se detiene por un descanso.
Does the bus stop for a break?
See? Well done. And if I said el viaje dura 3 horas, se detiene una vez. So if you've not heard me, what do we say? We say, perdón, ¿qué dijiste? ¿Qué dijiste? Can you do a ¿qué dijiste? What did you say? Perdón, ¿qué dijiste?
¿Qué dijiste?
Dijiste, yeah, dijiste. It's a lot of J's and a lot of E's, so it's dijiste. What did you say? El viaje dura 3 horas.
It stops for 3 hours.
El viaje, the journey, el viaje dura 3 horas. Se detiene una vez.
Stops after 3 hours. Is that... Have I got it all wrong?
No, not well. You're not far off. I mean, they wouldn't do last 3 hours.
Oh, it's
so
the
journey lasts 3 hours. It stops once.
Okay.
It's ever so easy when somebody's speaking Spanish to us to just say sí, okay, vale. You've sometimes you've no idea what you're signing up for. You can get into a real mix-up. You can end up with gravy on your salad if you're not careful. It's always best to try to know what's being said to you and you understand. If you're trying to speak Spanish, I think most Spanish speakers, unless they're grumpy gutses or they're in a bit of a hurry, they'll spend time with you to sort it out, or even tell you in English. That's all right. So that was Richard's question. Maya's question: ¿Se puede hacer reservas?
Do we have to make a reservation?
I say to you, ¿se puede reservar asientos? ¿Se puede reservar asientos?
You can make a reservation
Asientos.
for seats.
Seats, yeah. Muy bien. One can reserve seats. So this se puede is a useful one to know. It means one can. So you can use that phrase a lot, and you can use it as a question. You could say se puede reservar asientos. You could say can one reserve seats. So it's a really useful phrase to know. I think it's called a passive se, and it's used. It pops up an awful lot, so one to remember. Adrian, ¿puedo reservar un asiento para el tren de las 3 mañana por la tarde?
Can I reserve a seat for the train at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah. Muy bien. Now, if I say to you, déjame pensar. Sí, se puede.
Yeah, let me think. Yes, you can.
Amanda, quisiera comprar un billete para ir a Barcelona.
I want to buy a ticket to go to Barcelona.
And if I say to you, ¿quiere turista o preferente? What am I saying to you? ¿Quiere
Is that
turista?
tourist class or first class?
Yeah, I'm not sure how these work. It works in Spanish. This has come out of a book, and having never been on a train in Spain, anyway, I've never come across this, but they're obviously different classes. And apparently the fast trains are called AVE, birds, yeah. So they also, the AVE train has something called Turista Plus, where you can get an airline style meal. I'm not sure that would be a good thing. Having had a few airline meals in my time, but maybe it would be good. I'm not sure even if Turista Plus is still an option, but it was when the textbook was written. So necesito un billete de ida y vuelta, Karen.
I need a return ticket.
Perfect. Yeah. And if I said to you, regresa el mismo día, señora, vuelve el mismo día.
Returning on the same day.
Yeah. Are you
Same day
returning on the
return.
same? Yeah.
Eric, should that be ida y vuelta?
Vuelta.
It should be. Yes. Yes, it should indeed. This typist is falling down on the job again. Yeah. So, and I guess el mismo día, returning the same day, or vuelve el mismo día, both the same job. So Lorraine, I'll put this in English, and so I want to leave at 9 a.m. and return at 8 p.m.
Yeah. Do you want me to say it in Spanish?
Oh, yes, please. Yeah.
Quiero salir a las 9 de la mañana, volver a las 8 de la noche.
Yeah, bang. Perfect. And Caroline Ingram, can one pay by credit card?
Puede pagar para con tarjeta de crédito.
Muy bien, yeah. Con is better, not para. Perfect. So we have finally another of these little conversations. How are we doing on time? I've lost track of time. We've got 2 minutes to go, haven't we? Tell you what I'm going to do. We're just going to skip this bit, and we'll come back to it next week. Next week, I want to talk about hiring a car. We've been talking about buses and trains a lot. One of the ways that I've used to get around in Spanish countries is to hire a car or go by taxi. We'll talk about hiring a car, what happens when the car goes wrong, and we'll talk about that next week, and we'll definitely finish travel next week. And before we break for summer, which we'll be doing in I think 3 weeks' time, we want to cover off booking hotel rooms. Those, I think that's all the essentials covered in our basic Spanish course, and we'll talk about what we do next year then as well towards the end of term. So what I want to just finish off with quickly, and this just takes 2 or 3 minutes, is ask people if they've had a good time. Now it's one of those little conversation pieces. If somebody's been on holiday or been somewhere, we always ask, did you have a nice time? And tuviste is you had. It's simple past tense. Tuviste, and it's a useful conjugation of tener. It's you had in the informal, so speaking to a friend. And tuviste un buen fin de semana? Did you have a good weekend? Is maybe what you'd say. Tuviste un buen día? You might say. Did you have a good time? And we can use it for lots and lots of things. Tuviste unas buenas vacaciones? Espero que hayas tenido un buen tiempo. I hope you had a good time. I hope you had a good time. Tuviste un buen viaje? Did you have a good journey? And if it's more than one person and you want to be grammatically accurate, a couple of friends arrive after a long journey, you can say, tuvieron un buen viaje. The two both have a good journey. And there's a sort of colloquial way that the Spanish would often ask if somebody have had a nice time, and that's ¿Qué tal lo pasaste? Which I guess translates to sort of how did it pass? How did it go? In English, I don't think we'd ever say how did it go for somebody going back from holiday, but we use that phrase, don't we? ¿Qué tal lo pasaste? Is a colloquial Spanish way of saying how was your holiday? And the quick, easy answer is lo pasé bien. It went well. Spent it well. We often want to wish people a good time. We know somebody's going away on holiday. We often want to say, have a good time. And here we want to switch into the imperative because we're telling somebody. Divertirse means to have a good time. So if you want to tell somebody to have a good time, the imperative is divierte. And if you want to say you have a good time, diviértete is what you need to say. And diviértanse, if there's more than one person, enjoy yourselves is essentially what you're saying. So there's a few niceties that you can use if you've got Spanish speakers coming and going on the holiday. Good. Okay. Try and commit a few of those to memory. Try to stick a few of them into sentences. Helps if you write them down. That old. And I'm a bit old-fashioned, but that's still for me. That's a good way of remembering things. Write it down. Any questions about today's lesson? I'll send,
thank you.
I'll send the notes round and link to the video if you want to watch it again. Adrian.
I don't think I'll be able to join next week. I've got an Age UK committee.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Eric,
I won't be here for the next.
I won't be here either.
Dear oh dear, I'm going to be sat on my own, aren't I?
I won't be here, Eric. We're on holiday.
I can see you're all flagging. My lessons are finally getting to you. You're decided to quit. Well, it's just going to be me, Ian, Paul.
I'll still be around. We're not away.
Maya, Richard, and Lorraine. Oh well, we've got a quorum, haven't we?
You might have Carl back.
Yeah, well, Carl's been away for it's either his mum or Giselle's mum's. She's got a big birthday, 80 something. So they've gone away to Norfolk to some posh hotel.
To Gunton Hall, I believe.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Gunton Hall, I believe.
Gunton Hall, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. He said last week.
Are there 3 more lessons then, Eric? Is it 3 more?
I think it's 3 more, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be
3
back
more.
for the last one then.
Yeah. Okay. Jolly good. Okay. Well, ciao everyone. Ciao a todos.
Adios.
Bye.
Nos vemos la semana pasada. Próxima.
Hasta la vista.
Bye.
Bye.